Hey, good morning. I'm back here again. Part of my thoughts and wonderings is if I can get here consistently. So I'm trying to figure that out, um, working around kind of some new schedules. Um, I will also say, for what it's worth, that I am currently working with what I have in terms of personal bandwidth and technology. So this is just the webcam on my computer. I've got some nice natural light there, but I know the end product may be somewhat fuzzy. So yeah, that's that. I mentioned in the description, so one thought I have had is that if I continue to do these, I would love to share some of what I am reading or learning or thinking. And so that will be just based on whatever I come across, however I come across it. And I tend so far in my life, I tend to skip around with what I'm reading. So if I continue to do these, I'm sure that will become evident. So I have a copy of Walden, but this is an illustrated version by Henry David Thoreau, of course. I think many people are familiar with that. His writings about his time spent in a small cabin by Walden Pond. And I came across this quote yesterday, which I thought was just lovely. Trying to see, maybe I can get Walden there on the screen so that it's clear what it's from. So he writes, I have spent many an hour when I was younger, floating over its surface as the zephyr willed. So he's talking about Walden Pond. I have spent many an hour when I was younger, floating over its surface as the zephyr willed, having paddled my boat to the middle and lying on my back across the seas in a summer forenoon, dreaming awake until I was aroused by the boat touching the sand, and I arose to see what shore my fates had impelled me to. Isn't that not beautiful? It's beautiful. So I read that many times yesterday and really thought it was beautiful. Beautiful for the imagery it evokes, beautiful for um, what it represents in terms of, excuse me, what it represents in terms of how we spend our time. He does go on to say, um, days when idleness was the most attractive and productive industry. Many a forenoon have I stolen away, preferring to spend thus the most valued part of the day. For I was rich, if not in money, in sunny hours and summer days, and spent them lavishly. Nor do I regret that I did not waste more of them in the workshop or the teacher's desk. But since I left the shores, the woodchoppers have still further laid them waste, talking about the forest that surrounded Walden Pond. And now for many a year there will be no more rambling through the aisles of the wood, with occasional vistas through which you see the water. My muse may be excused if she is silent henceforth. How can you expect the birds to sing when their groves are cut down? So that's the end of that paragraph. Um, but yeah, so he does sort of make a commentary on his choice to spend his time that way and feeling rich for having time to spend that way. Um, and of course, that's certainly something I love, and I think many people love about the work is sort of the lifestyle philosophy behind it. Um, I also saw a word that I circled that I wasn't sure about that I thought I would look up. It's Sylvan, Sylvan. In my head, that might mean like somewhat silvery. This is something I find fascinating when I look up words. I actually have an idea in my head of what I think they mean, and sometimes it's quite incorrect. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up another window here where I can type Sylvan definition. Sylvan. Okay, adjective literary, consisting of or associated with woods, wooded. So the example sentence says, trees and contours all add to a sylvan setting. Then pleasantly rural or pastoral, vistas of sylvan charm. See, why in my head I think I have silvery in my head. I may be thinking of some sort of plant, or maybe it's just the fact that it sounds somewhat like silver. Um, I'm so glad I looked that up. So those are the types of things that I would want to share on here, um, so that it's something to think about, and dwell on and wonder about. So that is what I have to share for the moment. And I think I am going to work on some writing, which for me may mean printing something out. So I've been working, you know, on a doc, but at some point, I feel like I really need to see it, have it physically in my hands. So that might be what I do. Um, if the printer noise or other noise in my house gets to be too much for some reason, I will mute myself. But anyway, if you too have any writing or studying that you need to do, if you just want companionship during your day to while you do other tasks, then that's what I think about when I come here, and that's what I like in other similar channels. So I will type a little in the chat and then leave you to it. That noise is a cat tearing around the house.